Next topic, what you're going to see is email or electronic mail. So, this by using email, you can send a text, voice, and video. Okay. Now, first of all, we are going for the architecture of email. The general architecture of email system have three main components, that is user agent, then a message transfer agent, and a message access agent. What are the three main components of this email? It is user agent, message transfer agent, and message access agent. So there are three scenarios for while going into the architecture. There are three scenarios. The first scenario is the sender. This is a sender and this is a receiver. Both the sender or receivers are connected on the same system. So the sender and receivers are connected to the same system. So here you need only two user agents. This is one user agent in the sender side and another one user agent in the receiver side. So for the first one, so if both the sender and receivers are connected to the same system, then you need only two user agents. The second one is the sender and the receiver are connected to two different systems. This user is connected to this system and this user is connected to this system. Now, in this case, you need two user agents and you need a pair of MTAs, and that is two MTAs. Here, one MTA client and one MTA server. So in the first case is both the sender and the receiver are connected to the same system. If you're having such a case, then you need only two user agents. If your sender and receiver are connected to two different systems, then you need two user agents and two message transfer agent, that is one pair of message transfer agents. So there are three cases. The first case is when the sender and receiver of email of same system, then you need two user agent. And the second condition is when the sender and the receiver of email are of different system, you need two user agents and a pair of message transfer agent. The third one is when a sender is connected to mail via a LAN or WAN, and another one, the receiver is directly connected. The third case is the sender is connected to the system via some LAN or WAN, and the receiver directly connected to one system. So in such a case, you need two user agent and two pair of message transfer agent. And the fourth one is if both the sender and receivers are connected to the mail server via some LAN or WAN, then you need two user agent and two pairs of message transfer agent and a pair and one pair of message access agents. Okay, these are the three cases. Initially, we have seen two cases. That this is the third case. So when you're coming to the third case, this user it is connected to this system via a LAN, and the second one is directly connected. So in this case, you need two user agents. You need two user agents and two pairs of message transfer agent. This is one client, one server, one pair, one client, one server, another pair. So two pair of user agent and two pair of message transfer agents. And the third case, both the sender and receiver are connected to the system via some LAN or WAN. Now in this case, you need two user agent and two pairs of message transfer agent and one pair of message accessing agent. So you need one pair of user agent and two pairs of message transfer agent and one pair of message accessing agent. So these are the four cases. So this last case, it is widely used now. Okay. User agent. What is user agent? An user agent is a software package that composes, reads, replies and forward messages. What are the functions of user agent? The user agent is a software. It will compose the message, it will read the message, it will reply to the message, and it will forward the messages. It also handles mailboxes. Okay. So these are the thing what the user agent is doing. User agent will compose a message, it will read the message, it will reply to the message, it will forward the message, and it will handle the mailboxes, inbox and outbox. Okay. These are the function of user agent. Now, first, what is composing message? So a user agent helps the user to compose an email message to send out. Most user agents provide a template on the screen to be filled in by the user. So you all know, while composing a message, first from our email to which email, the body, what is a topic, what is a header. Okay, so all the thing you'll be having. So you'll be having a built-in editor that can do. So in addition to that, some email that will be having some spell checking editors, then grammar checking, and some other sophisticated word processors it will be having. So, but we can use our text editors to type the text, and we can also cut and paste that particular in the mail. So this is nothing called composing. Next one, reading. The second duty of the user agent to read the incoming messages. When a user invokes a user agent, it first checks the mail in the incoming mailbox. Most user agents show a one-line summary of the received mail. So usually you'll be getting a summary of mail, from where it is coming, whether it is having some attachments and all. So such things will be there in the mail. So each mail will be having the following field. That is a number field, a flag field that shows the status of the mail, such as new, already read but not replied, read and replied. Such thing it will be having. First it will be having a number field, then it will be having a flag field showing the status of the mail, such as new, already read but not replied to. Such thing it will be having. Next one is the size of the message. What is the size, whether it is in GB or KB or MB. Okay. Next, who is the sender, and it will be having some optional subfield. So next, replying. So first we have seen the composing message. Next one is reading the message, and next one is replying to the message. If someone is sending some messages to us, then we have to reply. After reading a message, a user can do the user agent to reply a message. So the replying, either it can be, we can do it for the original sender or to all the recipients of that message. So the reply message may contain the original message or a new message. Next, forwarding message. Replying is defined as sending a message to the sender or recipients of the copy. Forwarding is defined as sending the message to a third party. Okay, replying means sending the message to the person who have sent that message. Forwarding is nothing but sending a message to some unknown person, that is third party. A user agent allows a receiver to forward message with or without extra commands to a third party. If you want, we can allow some commands in that. If not, we can forward the same to the third party. Handling mailboxes. The user agent normally creates two mailboxes. One is inbox and outbox. Each box is nothing but a file with a special format. What is box? A box is nothing but a file with a special format that can be handled by the user agent. The inbox, it will keep all the received emails until they are deleted by the user. What is outbox? Outbox keeps all the sent emails until the user deletes them. Most user agents today are capable of creating customized mailboxes. We can change the mailbox according to our need. There are two types of user agent. One is command-driven user agent. Another one is graphical user interface-based user agent. First, command-driven. A command-driven user agent normally accept a one character command from the keyboard to perform its task. What is command-driven? It will accept one command from the keyboard and it will do the particular task. So, for example, if a user can type R at the command prompt to reply to the sender of the message, or type character R to reply to the sender and all recipients. Simply, if you type on R, either you can you can reply the message to a particular person or a group of recipients. Okay. Some examples of command-driven user agents are Mail, Pine, and ELM. These are some of the command-driven user agent. Next one, graphical user interface based. So the modem user agents are GUI based. They contain graphical user interface commands that allow the user to interact with the software by using both the keyboard and the mouse. So the advantage of GUI is here you can interact with the software by using your mouse or keyboard. They are having some graphical components such as icons, menu bars, and windows that make the service easy to access. So some of the GUI based user agents are Edora, Microsoft Outlook, and Netscape. These are some of the GUI based user agents. Sending a mail. To send mail, the user through the user agent creates mail that look like similar to post mail. So if you want to send mail, then you have to create one mail. Okay. So it is having two things. That is, it is having two things: an envelope and a message. What is the envelope? The envelope usually contains a sender and receiver address, from whom it is going, from whom it is coming. Message. The message contains the header and the body. The header of the message defines the sender, the receiver, the subject of the message, and some other information. That is what type of encoding it is used. The body of the message contains the actual information to be read by the recipient. So what are the two things the message will be having? The message will be having header and the body. The header will be having the information about the sender, receiver, and the type of the message, some other information. And the body of the message contains the actual information that is read by the recipient. Next, receiving a mail. The user agent is triggered by the user to receive the mail. If a user has a mail, the user agent informs the user with a notice, that is, you have some mail, you have received some mail. If the user is ready to read the mail, a list is displayed in which each line contains a summary of information about a particular message in the mailbox. So if a user is ready to read the mail, then a list is displayed which will be having some summary information regarding that mail. The summary includes the sender, the subject, the time of the mail it was sent, and it was received. So the user can select any of the messages and display its content on the screen. Format of email. So this is a format of email. So from where it is coming, this is an envelope, from where it is coming and to where it is. The next one is a header. So date, what is the subject of the mail, from to. Next one is a body. Okay, this is a format of mail. Next, email address. So the email address will be having two parts. One is a local part. It is nothing but the address of the mailbox on the mail server. And the second one is a domain name, the domain name of the mail server. The email address will be having two parts. One is a local part, which is having the address of the mailbox on the mail server. And second one is a domain name. So email also allows one name and alias to represent several different email address. This is called mailing list. Okay. Every time an email is sent, the system checks the recipient name against that alias database. So for each mail, we can give one name. So whenever a mail is coming from that particular name, it will show that name. Next one is address. To deliver a mail handling system must use an address system with the unique address. So if you want to deliver some mail, when definitely you need some address. Okay. So the address is having two parts, a local part and a domain name separated by @ local part. A local part defines the name of a special file called the user mailbox, where the mail received for a user is stored for retrieval by the message access agent. Next one is domain name. The second part of the address is a domain name. An organization usually selects one or more hosts to receive and send email. The hosts are sometimes called mail servers or mail exchangers. The domain name assigned to each mail exchanger either comes from DNS, domain name space database, or is a logical name, that is nothing but the name of an organization. So mailing list. Electronic mail allows one name and alias to represent several different email address. This is called mailing list. Every time a message is to be sent, the system checks the recipient name against its database. If there is a mailing list for a defined alias, separate messages, one for each entry in the list, must be prepared and handled to the mail transferring agent or message transferring agent. If there is no mailing list for the alias, the name itself is a receiving address and a single message is delivered to the mail transfer entity. MIME. So electronic mail can send messages only in network virtual terminal 7-bit ASCII format. But it is having some limitation. Some of the languages are not supporting the 7-bit ASCII characters. Some languages are French, German, Hebrew, Russian, Chinese, and Japanese. It is not supporting the 7-bit ASCII. So similarly, it will be this email is not supporting binary files or video or audio data. So we are using a multi-purpose internet mail extension called MIME. It's a supplementary protocol that allows non-ASCII data to be sent through email. So if you want to send some non-ASCII data, then you need a multi-purpose internet mail extension, that is MIME. So if this is user agent, if you're having some non-ASCII code, you will give to MIME, it will convert to 7-bit non-virtual terminal ASCII, and it is given to the mail or message transferring agent, and it is transferred to the receiving side. In the receiving side, this 7-bit NVT ASCII is converted to non-ASCII. Again, it is given to the user. So this is MIME. So the simple thing is MIME will transfer the non-ASCII data in the center side to a non-virtual terminal ASCII data and delivers to the client message transferring agent. The message at the receiving side is transformed back to the original form. So MIME is nothing but a set of software functions that transform non-ASCII data into ASCII data. So MIME is having headers. The MIME header is having headers. So it will define the following things: version of the MIME, content type, content transfer encoding, content ID, content description. So this is the thing, 5 headers, that is version, content type and its subtype, content transfer, encoding type, and content ID and content description. So this is some of the data types and subtypes in MIME. It is having text, multi-part, message, image, video, audio, and application. And each type is having some text subtype. In the text, it is having plain text and HTML, and multi-part it is having mixed, parallel, and digest. Similarly, message, it is RFC 822, partial, external body, images, JPEG as well as GIF format, and video MPEG format, audio is basic, and application PostScript and octet stream. So this is nothing but the sum of the data types and subtypes of MIME. Message transferring agent. So actually message transferring agent here, it is done by simple mail transfer protocol. So actual mail transfer is done by mail transfer agents, okay, or message transfer agent. To send a mail, a system must have a client message transferring agent. To receive a mail, a system must have a server message transferring agent. The formal protocol that define the message transfer agent, client and server in the internet is called Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. The Simple Mail Transfer Protocol is used 2 times between the sender and the sender mail server and between 2 mail servers. First, it is used 2 times. First time is it is used between sender and sender's mail server, and second it is used between the mail servers. So Simple Mail Transfer Protocol simply defines how commands and response must be sent back and forth. How we can send the commands and responses. Commands and responses. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol uses commands and response to transfer messages between a message transfer agent client and message transfer agent server. Each command or reply is terminated by 2 characters. Carriage return and line feed. Okay, that is a 2 character. That is nothing but the end of token. Commands. Command are sent from client to the server. It consists of a keyword followed by no arguments or more arguments. There are 14 commands. Out of these 14 commands, 5 are mandatory. For every implementation must support these 5 commands. And the next 3, totally you are having 14, 3, first 5 is important. Next 3 is often used and is recommended. So totally 8. Another last 6, it is very rarely used. These are some of the commands. Hello, mail from, RCP2, receipt 2, recipient of message. These are some of the commands, and this is some of the responses. So response are sent from the server to the client. A response is a 3-digit code that may be followed by additional textual information. Mail transfer phase. Mail is transferred in 3 phases, that is connection establishment, mail transfer, connection termination. Okay, it is done in 3 phases, that is connection establishment, mail transfer and connection termination. Okay, so this is the thing about email.